Then that is when Dasharatha is kind of consoles himself and tells himself that, okay, I have to somehow send my beloved Rama along with Viswamitra. Now he decides to send his sons to Viswamitra. But what he thinks is, not just Rama, I will also send Lakshmana. Lakshmana and Rama are like inseparable. They are always together. So he decides to send both of them along with Viswamitra. Now, when the decision is made, he then calls Rama to the court. He sends his servants and asks them to call upon Rama. And then Dasharatha tells Rama that this is the course of action. You need to go along with Viswamitra. And Rama, without a question, without a second argument or discussion, he agrees. And then immediately he goes to Kausalya to take her blessings. He doesn't take the blessings of his son, of his father first. He goes and takes the blessings of his mother. He goes and takes the blessings of his mother. Why does he do so? Yeah, you can tell.
Mothers are more important.
Mothers are more important. Not back then, even now. Even now, taking the blessings of mother comes first, and then you will take the blessings of father. It is not to demean father. It is just to tell how important mothers are, because mothers are the ones who gave literally birth to you. Like they had you in their tummy, they risked their lives to get you into the world.
I mean, they're the one that they would normally take their mother's first their name.
Yeah, that is another reason. There are a lot of ways in which we can show our love towards our mother, or our culture has shown us multiple different ways to help us understand the importance of mother. And this is one of the ways. And the naming thing, you got it very rightly. That is another way of, right? Okay. So then they both follow the king Viswamitra. When they follow King Viswamitra, the entire city of Ayodhya is so happy because their princes are going along with another sage and trying to learn more weapons and more education. They're getting more education. Why is the city happy after all?
Because Rama's so virtuous.
He is virtuous, but why is city happy? Yes.
It's for the
Maybe
future.
because in the future he's gonna be the king.
He's going to be a
If
protector.
he's getting more knowledge, then he's gonna rule the kingdom better.
Yes, exactly. That is why the entire kingdom of Ayodhya is happy. Then Viswamitra along with these two. So they give a very detailed explanation of how this entire thing is looking from the heaven. So when they talk about it, so Rama and Lakshmana, they take their bows and their quivers. You know what a quiver is?
Quiver is the thing that holds all the bows.
All the arrows, not the bows.
Yeah, all the arrows.
Yeah, all the
It looks
arrows.
like a cave.
Yes, it looks like this,
A comb.
and it has
Yeah,
arrows.
and all the arrows.
Arrows will be facing down, it seems, and the feathers will be facing up. And they have two
Because
quivers.
They don't want to hit anybody.
Yes, they have two quivers like this, and the king is here, carrying both the quivers. So when they explain this, the sage Valmiki says Rama and Lakshmana are looking like three-headed serpents. One is their own head, and the other two heads are the cases of the top of the quivers. That is how he explains. It looks like Viswamitra, who is compared to Shiva at that point of time. Viswamitra looks like Shiva. These two warriors, Rama and Lakshmana, look like Shiva's sons Ganesha and Kumaraswamy. And these two warriors, Rama and Lakshmana, are looking like three-headed serpents with quivers as other two heads. That is how it is explained. Then they start walking. The only mode of transport is either you have to go by chariot. Sages don't take chariots; they walk. So along with sage, these two warriors also start walking, and they go. I don't know how much yojana in terms of miles or kilometers is. They travel for 1.5 yojana.
Is it yours?
No, not yards. Yojana is it's called. Yojana is, I don't know. I'll check and get back to you. Okay, how many miles or how many kilometers it is? 1.5 yojana they travel, and they reach a place that is banks of the river Sarayu. Sarayu is a river which flows through the city of Ayodhya. Okay, and they reach that banks, and they sit, and now at this point Viswamitra doesn't tell a story. I'll tell you. I tell the story, not Viswamitra. So Viswamitra now wants to give some education to Rama and Lakshmana. Why does he want to give an education to Rama and Lakshmana at that point is because, you have to listen to me, is because these two kids, these two Rama and Lakshmana are going into deep and thick forests, and they need that physical fitness so that they can live in that rugged nature of the forest. Until now, these kids are in their castles with very soft beds probably, and they have enjoyed all the kingly pleasures. Now they are in the forest, they are about to enter the forest. So he teaches them two important lessons. They are called Bala and Atibala. The prominence of these two kind of education is they will impart physical fitness into the people. If you really take those hands and repeat them over and over, or in a certain way that Viswamitra tells them to, that will give them physical fitness. That will keep them away from the general sicknesses that everybody will go through because of the weather change, because of the place change, because of having different kinds of water. So it will give them strength. So that is the level of details that are given in Valmiki Ramayana. It's not just about Ravana taking away Sita and that war of what happens. Right? I was really surprised. I was very happy to learn about these things. I've never read. Now I'm reading so that I can tell. So these two things, the reference of this comes over and over in the next few classes. That is the reason I'm giving them the names of these lessons also. So they are equipped with these two lessons, and then they go to bed that night. That night they are on the banks of river Sarayu. Next day morning they get up and they go to they start walking. Basically everything is on foot. They are just walking from place to place. Before they reach the actual place where Viswamitra is performing his penance, they will reach 2 or 3 different places. So the next part of the story, I'm going to talk about another demon called Tataka. Tataki or Tadaka or Taraka.
It used to be a peaceful place until Tadaka moved.
Sorry, Nana, what's it?
It used to be a peaceful place when Tadaka moved there.
Yes. And before the story of Tataki, they also go to another place, another hermitage. And that was previously the hermitage of Shiva. I'm not really going into the details because it will distract you from the original story. So they go to another hermitage, they spend that night there, and that is a very beautiful place. And there they talk about how that place was called as Angarajya. In future Mahabharata it becomes Angarajya, which is ruled by Karna. So that is the place. So how it gets that name, what was involved, what is the backstory of that, so that it got that name of Angarajya and all that. And then and from there they move to another. Next day morning they will be going to a place where the Sarayu and Ganga, they come together. The river Ganga and Sarayu come together, and they go to that place. And at that point, so what happens is that they go to this hermitage, which is in future called as Angarajya, right? So from there they are given a boat so that they could cross the river Sarayu and go to the other side of the river. So
who gave them the boat?
The people in the ashram, the other sages in the ashram, they give them a boat. So when Viswamitra, Lakshmana and Rama, they are going through that river, they hear loud, really ferocious loud noises in the river, like the water is splashing and unleashing. Generally, that's not the sound of rivers. So Rama is very curious. He asks Viswamitra, why is this river having this kind of specific sound, which is very unnatural, and I have never heard any this kind of noise in the river. So then he talks about where the Sarayu river came from. Sarayu river takes birth from the very famous lake called Manasarovar. Manasarovar is in Himalayas. Even now there is Manasarovar, kids, and there is it is in Tibet, today's Tibet. So Manasarovar, you have Manasarovar Yatra. People go there. They dip in Manasarovar and come back. So Sarayu river has its roots from Manasarovar, and Manasarovar has this. I mean, it was created by Brahma himself. And because the Sarayu river is flowing from there, so much of water is gushing into the Sarayu. That is the reason that has so much of sound. And at that point where there is so much of sound, that is where Sarayu is meeting with Ganga. And that is the reason it has so much of significance.
Do the Sarayu and Ganga still exist?
Sarayu and Ganga still exist. Yes.
What about the forest?
Forest, no. Forest now they have huge buildings there. Probably it's Noida. I don't know. NCR region. I think so. I don't know. Okay. But in the next time when we meet, right, I will really bring the India map and show what are the places that we are talking about. Where do they exist? Where do the rivers flow from? What are we exactly talking about? How does the geography looks like? We will talk about that. Okay. That's okay. Now, what were we talking? Okay, now they are in the river and now they cross the river and they go to the other bank. Okay, and on the other bank it is almost night there, so they sleep there. Next day morning they enter this ferociously looking forest. Until now, Rama doesn't know that he has to take care of this demon called Tataka. He doesn't know that yet. Okay, now the next day morning, when Viswamitra and Rama, all these people wake up, they offer prayers to the god early in the morning, and then they enter the forest. As they enter the forest, Rama can feel that aura in the forest, which is not really great. It is very gloomy. It is ferocious. It is not apt. Then he asks Viswamitra to tell him the backstory of that particular forest. Now he goes on to talk about the forest, how dangerous it is, and how those animals within the forest are taken care or probably servants of this demon called Tataki or Tadaka. In Telugu we call Tataki. So when he explains, he tells how dangerous that place is, how it is inhabitable, how it was habitable back in those days, and then now it has come to a state where human beings cannot really thrive there and all that. And he gives the story of Tataki. Do you want to know the story of Tataki?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the story of Tataki.
Thank you.
So, according to Hindu
Religion.
Sanatana, no, I don't want to call it religion. Hindu way of life. It is not religion. Religion is recently carved terminology because people cannot think of anything outside the construct of a religion. Religion basically has one God, has one book, has one way of praying the God. But Sanatana Dharma, which is something that is followed in the regions of India, we do not think that it is one God, it is one book, and there is only one way to reach God. There are multiple ways is what we believe in. There are multiple thought processes. There are multiple ways in which you reach the God. One of the ways is Bhakti Marga, which most of us follow. It is very popular. You just bow your head and think God as supreme. That is one marga, which is Bhakti Marga. There is another marga. There are a lot of other margas. One is Karma Margam. Karma Margam means your deeds and your actions will take you to God. So what we think is there are multiple ways, multiple thought processes that are encouraged within Hinduism. Okay. So that is basically the difference between Sanatana Dharma and other religions. And basically we have become a bunch of people who are good bhaktas. We are good devotees. But the question is, are we good Hindus? Are we good Hindus? This question is to the adults, not to the kids. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Okay. To me, if you ask me, I'm not a perfect Hindu. I'm not a perfect follower of Sanatana Dharma, and I try to become. One. Now back to the story. Pause it, Amma.
No.
It's okay, we'll pause.
ఎయిర్ వస్తలేదని విండోస్ అంట తీస్తారా అని అంట
తీద్దాం మరి. Pause it.